It's time for all of us to admit the truth. Roman Reigns' title run in WWE has gotten a bit stale. That doesn't mean that the run overall hasn't been great. That doesn't mean it hasn't been historic. But what it does mean is that I think it's time for them to either do something new or give the belt to someone else. Because at this point, you have Roman Reigns, who sparingly wrestles, if he even does. Over the past 6 months, he's had 2 championship defenses. He's sparingly on TV, and even if he is, it's to say, acknowledge me, and then give the mic over to Paul Heyman. So, needless to say, there could be more done with the Roman Reigns character, and I think that's part of the problem. People want a world champion who might not even wrestle every week or might not even defend the title once a month, but who is at least there. It's one of the big problems that people had with Brock Lesnar when he was champion for so long, because as great and dominant as Brock was in his prime, the fact of the matter is, in 2014, 2015, and so on, when Brock was champion, you didn't see him on TV. The championship felt less important, and then you would have him show up and just be better than everyone, which, yes, you want the champion to seem bigger and better, but not at the expense of everyone who's challenging him, because it makes everyone around him look less than. And you want to get to a point where you build Cody Rhodes, you build LA Knight, you build other challengers to be viable threats. Even though you can build these guys up in a short amount of time, they still will not amount to the challenge that is Roman Reigns. And then you have the other problem, which is that over time, when someone isn't on TV, it makes people care less. Yes, the crowd is going to pop when Roman's there, but knowing that he's not going to be there next week, not going to be there the week after, and maybe shows up at the Rumble, it doesn't give that many fans confidence that their favorite wrestler, or someone who they would want to be their favorite wrestler, is reliable enough to show up. And it's a big problem that WWE has dealt with in the past, and I think Roman Reigns really personifies this problem of part-time world champion in the modern era. Now, there are ways that you can kind of circumvent this and deal with it. Number one, just have Roman appear on SmackDown more often. You don't have to have him wrestle. You don't have to have him go out there, have 20-minute bangers every week, or defend the title in an open challenge. No, you don't need to do that. But what you do need to do is make him more of a presence on TV, much like he was during the height of his title reign. Back in 2022, when Sami Zayn and the Bloodline thing really took off, Roman was on TV, if not every week, at least every other week, and you knew that if you tuned into SmackDown, you were going to see the champion come in, do his thing, and tell a great story. And ever since the Bloodline story has kind of wind down, I feel like WWE doesn't really know what to do with Roman Reigns. He's this great grand prize, this final boss that everyone knows is great, but it's almost like we're kind of keeping him away for safekeeping until Mania season. At the same time, while you're doing this, you're making not only him feel less important, but the championship, which someone needs to win at some point, also feel like it's not that big a deal, because people aren't fighting for it. People aren't even vying for it every week on TV. Because, again, you don't gotta have him wrestle, but you at least have to have people calling him out, him involved in storylines, and him progressing that title and advancing that title forward. Because whenever it is, whoever it is, whether it's at Mania and it's Cody, or it's afterwards and it's LA Knight, or it's Jey Uso or Sami Zayn or whoever, someone's going to win that belt. And someone needs to be better off after winning that belt than they were before. And the more you keep Roman off of TV and the more it feels like his title run is stale, the less impact it's going to have when someone finally does defeat him for that world championship. It's just the truth. And that's not something you can risk doing at this point. Roman's been WWE Universal Champion for over 1,000 days, and you can't let all of that go to waste because towards the end, you ran out of ideas or he ran out of dates, and you just didn't want to overexpose him on TV. If anything, this right now is when you should have Roman Reigns on TV, in people's faces, not wrestling, but telling them that he's the GOAT, that they should acknowledge him, that he's the final boss that we all know him to be. And by doing that, you can not only make his world title run feel even bigger, you can make that world championship around his waist feel even bigger, and you can make the moment feel bigger when someone finally beats him after years of dominance over the entire WWE roster. We'll see what happens. I really do believe that Roman's title run has gotten stale. Hopefully you liked that video. Be sure to check out another one from Wrestle Vibes, and also be sure to hit that like button and subscribe.